everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another top 5 for you guys, and today is a video that I thought I had already done, but it would appear I have not. So I'm going to rank my top 5 Star Trek series. Now I will of course be doing honorable mentions, as there is now a lot of Star Trek shows. In fact, I think there's about 10, so only one won't make the cut on this list. Which is quite sad for that show, but unfortunately, someone's not going to make it. So, let's start off with number 5. Now, Star Trek Voyager. I'm not going to lie, a few months ago, this would have been the one that wouldn't have made the cut. But recently, I've started watching it, and do you know what? It's pretty good. Like, it ain't the best of Star Trek shows. There are some big problems with it, but I've got to admit, it's pretty decent. Like, a lot of fans say it's absolutely terrible, should never be watched, but honestly, it is worth it. Like, there's so many decent characters, like Captain Janeway, Chakotay, Seven of Nine, who is literally a redeemed Borg drone, much like Captain Picard was in Next Generation. But yeah, like, there is so many good characters in the show, and some of them could have gone a bit better, but honestly, the show isn't half bad. It is worth watching it if you really want to watch Star Trek but don't want to, like, have to learn all the species, because this show is pretty much separate from the rest of Star Trek, because it takes place on the opposite end of the galaxy, which the Federation thought they'd never reach, so no one actually explored that until Voyager. So if you want to learn about a bunch of species that I don't want to say don't matter to the rest of Trek, but aren't going to, like, you know, interact with the rest of Trek just yet, Star Trek Voyager is the way to go. Now, on to number 4. I'm going to get slaughtered for this. Star Trek the Original Series. I know. It is iconic. But let's be honest, the acting wasn't great. It was very overacted, which is of course how the 60s were, but it hasn't aged that well. The visual effects are questionable at best. Shatner is Shatner, let's be real. Again, another massive overactor. There were some good actors in the show. One of the best in my opinion, Leonard Nimoy, may he rest in peace. But, like, there is some good aspects to the show about how strangely politically correct it was for its time, because I know politically correctness isn't, it's pretty common now, but back in the 60s, it wasn't. Like, so how politically correct it was back then is amazing to see. Like, there was some stuff in there that would be even considered somewhat progressive now. So, nice work, TOS. You definitely blazed the trail for all Trek's shows to come. So, I will at least give you props for that. And of course, the Enterprise. I mean, look at that thing. Tell me that's not the most beautiful ship in sci-fi. I mean, if you don't think so, okay. But look at it. It does look good, come on. But yeah, that's my number 4 pick for my top 5 Star Trek shows. Now on to number 3. Star Trek Discovery. Now, I'll be honest, I do love the show. It's amazing. There is so much that could happen now that, spoilers, it's jumped to the 32nd century. It's now completely disconnected from any previous Star Trek canon and can kind of blaze its own trail. Because it's 1,000 years after Enterprise, which is the first Star Trek show in the timeline. But it's been really good. Like, the first season, okay, that was a little rocky. The second season, Captain Pike and the Enterprise. Again, yes. But now they've jumped to the 32nd century, we now get to see a lot more of the Trek canon post what we've already seen, expanded a lot, because they have been referencing events that we haven't seen but have happened in the past, after the Trek shows we've already seen in the like 800-year gap. Literally, there's like 800 years gap between the last Trek show and Discovery now. But yeah, it's a really good show. Love the ship, love the crew, love, spoilers, Captain Burnham, and yeah, it's an amazing show. Now, on to Number 2. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Let's be honest, we all love this show. It brought back Trek to TV after about 20 years. It needed to happen eventually, and there was only one crew that could do it. Captain Picard, Commander Riker, and the rest of the crew of the Starship Enterprise D. And of course, it had some amazing actors again. One, Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard. Of course, we had Commander Riker, played by Jonathan Frakes. Data, played by Brent Spiner, who, if you didn't know, was Independence Day, by the way, the Will Smith film. Yeah, I know. I was surprised as well. But the Enterprise D is an amazing looking ship yet again. I'll put a picture of it here. But the show was really good. Once again, massively progressive, especially for the time it was in, the 1980s to early to mid 90s. And yeah, it was just an amazing show. So many good plot arcs. Best of both worlds, for example. Best Star Trek double bill ever. Well, two-parter. Amazing. Love it. Definitely would recommend checking out, by the way. Season 3 finale, Season 4 premiere. Just a heads up. But Star Trek Next Generation, it's iconic. It was the show that brought Star Trek back to the small screen, and we can thank it for Star Trek still being on small screen now. So, on to my first honourable mention. And you're going to be surprised by this. Star Trek Picard. Now, I love Picard. I love the show. I love the character, as you know from my Next Gen rant just then. But it is missing the Starfleet element, which I love. I know he had a tiny bit of it at the end of Season 1 with Captain Riker and the Zheng He. But unfortunately, I just feel as if there could be a bit more Starfleet involved. Will Picard return to Starfleet? Who knows? And will he take that demotion that he said he would in Season 1? Maybe. And if he does, I'll be okay with that. But I know Season 2's on its way, but I think Picard, for me, I think I just need it to have a bit more time to settle in. Like, it hasn't quite found its groove in my eyes yet, but I think it will do soon, because Season 2 is looking phenomenal, as we know from last week. That's my honourable mention number 2. Now, my third honourable mention is the aforementioned Star Trek Enterprise. Technically the one that started it all, because, as I said, it's the first show in the Star Trek timeline, taking place in the 2150s, 115 years before Star Trek the original series, taking place in 2265 to what should have been 2270. But we all know that story, I talked about that last week as well. But Enterprise. This show is based on the first Starfleet crew, commanding the first Warp 5 ship, which is basically the first ship that was feasibly able to do intergalactic travel. And it showed a lot. It introduced us to a lot of species in a very in-depth way. So if, unlike Voyager, you want to know about the species that we know in Trek in an in-depth level, watch Enterprise. Because you do learn a lot about them. It is as if this was supposed to be the first series of Star Trek. They wrote it in that way, so props to the writers of that show. And the Enterprise looks amazing. It's as if they just took the bottom part off the original series Enterprise and just chopped it off. And it works. It looks really good. And it looks like early Starfleet. It does look as if they haven't quite figured out what they're doing yet. Which of course they eventually do, as seen in the original series Enterprise. But yeah, this show was amazing. Again, there's a lot of people who say not so much, but to them I say, I like it. Again, if you want a series that explains the fundamentals of Star Trek, watch this one. It's really good. Season 3, definitely recommend that one at least. But yeah, those are my 3 honourable mentions. Now on to my top pick. No one's going to be surprised by this one. The one and only Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, What's to be said about the show that hasn't already been said? One of the most well-rounded and diverse casts in Star Trek history. Literally an amazing cast of characters. Jadzia Dax, amazing, multiply layered character, being several different characters in the past. You'll understand that if you watch the show. Major Kira Nerys, the coolest resistance fighter ever, and Captain Benjamin Lafayette Sisko. This man just does not care. If he wants to go, he's gonna go. Seriously, like, the first episode of Deep Space Nine, oh no, the second episode, Q showed up. Now, Captain Picard could never quite get rid of Q, because he didn't do what Captain Picard didn't do what Captain Sisko did. Punched him square in the face. And that kind of set us up for what Captain Sisko was going to be like compared to Picard. Picard tried to talk him away. Sisko just went, punched him straight in the face. And he never saw Q again. Nice work, Sisko. But yeah, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, an amazing, so complex series. The Dominion War arc towards the end of the show. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Absolutely brilliant. Like, if you want to get a good view of what the show is like, watch the last 2 seasons. Because that is the Dominion War arc. Yes, it was a 2-season arc. And I've got to say, it was amazing. It was the first war in Star Trek that we properly saw, and my god, the space battles looked amazing. And the Defiant is just awesome. Look at it. How cool does that look? But yeah, that is it for my top 5 Star Trek shows, plus honourable mentions. And that's it for this video, guys. So as always, people, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to mine and Roxanne's and Frost's YouTube channels. Their links are in the description. My sub button is down there. Yep, that big red one. Unless you've already subbed, then it's grey. Thanks for that, by the way. And once you've done that, don't forget to click all 3 of our bell icons to get all 3 sets of our notifications. Comment as well, because why not? And let me know what you thought of this video and what you think of my picks for my top 5 Star Trek shows are, and what yours are. Once you've done that too, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Stereo and TikTok. I'll be going live on Stereo this Sunday yet again. Those links are going to be in the link tree in the description, by the way. Once you've done that, don't forget to follow Roxanne on her blog and Frost on his Instagram. The links will be in the description below the link tree. And lastly, of course, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends so they can join the infinite loop of liking, subscribing, commenting, following, and sharing, and around and around and around that loop. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Goodbye.